Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff. And today's date is January the 12th, 2015. It's early Monday morning, January the 12th, 2015, and the time is 2:30 a.m. On the date today's video was yesterday's date, which would be Sunday, January 11th, 2015. I want to first say thank you all my fans, my supporters, for your continued encouragement and your support. And I always keep my fans, my supporters informed, and continue to keep myself employed at a company right here in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff, called Ameripride, right there on the corner of Vans Avenue and Walnut Street. And I'm continuing to further my education at Monroe College online. I'm pursuing my associate's degree. I'm studying business administration with a concentration in marketing. I started in 2014 at Monroe College online, and now I'm in my second year. And this is the winter semester. And this semester I'm studying composition and literature in the IT information technology class. And as I informed all my fans, my supporters about this situation, as you know, I'm continuing to work on my entertainment, my music interest, and as I informed you, this One Sound Studio and also this Wicked Film, whoever this Louis guy is. My attorney is working on this situation, and One Sound Studio has not gotten away with stealing not one penny from me, and Wicked Film and this Louis guy has not gotten away with stealing no money from me, not one single penny. And my attorney is on top of this. And but on today's video, as I said yesterday, we put a lot of emphasis on we placed a lot of emphasis, and rightly so. We put a put a lot of emphasis on Niger Congo languages, the primary branch, Volta Congo, South Volta, Bantu, beside Bantu, other East Benu Congo, and West Benu Congo. That's the South Volta. Then you have your North Volta. And then also in the South Volta, you have your Quay. Quay is South Volta. All the Quay speakers. And then you have your North Volta. Kru, Salufo, Gur, which is a Volta language. Then your Adamawa, your Bungian. Then you have your other primary branches. Your Cordophone, your Mandi, your Atlantic, Phoebe, and your Dogon. So like I said, yesterday we put a lot of emphasis on the language. On yesterday's video, but today we're gonna have to put some emphasis. We're going to get back to this slave trade. We're going to get back to the slave trade and make sure that all those that are listening, that there be no discrepancies, that everything is understood. But for all those listening, and because as we went through the languages, when you talk about the Niger Congo, and you talk about South Volta and North Volta, sometimes people can get confused based on the location, because the South Volta mainly not West Africa, Then your North Volta is North Africa. I mean, excuse me, West Africa. West Africa. But when you talk about West Africa, the other primary branches, Mandi, Atlantic, Dogon, then your Kordofan, they are in Sudan. When you talk about West Africa, see, the other primary branches are also in West Africa. See, so we have to make sure that everybody is understanding. When you say Niger Congo, all the languages, that there's no confusion among the language. So when you talk about the slave trade, same thing. When you talk about the people whose ancestors were from the African continent, whether it be on the east coast, on the East African coast, or the west coast of Africa, or Central Africa, wherever, your ancestors were Niger Congo. So all the people whose ancestors from the east coast of Africa, and they living outside, they living like in the South Arabian Peninsula, they living in West Asia, they living in Central Asia, they living in South Asia, because of the slave trade, because the Arab slave trade, because the East African slave trade, living in East Asia, Far East Asia. Then when you understand that the Bantu, are living in, were living and still are living on the East African coast, then the Bantu people know who you are, and they know the history. But then also the West African coast had, the Atlantic slave trade. And the Atlantic slave trade, there were people from Angola, which is Bantu, was sent from Angola to Hispaniola, which is today Haiti and Dominican Republic, and were also sent to Jamaica, to Cuba, but also was sent to Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Panama, sent to Guyana, sent all over to Central America, sent to Belize. And then we talk about the slave trade in the United States of America. And then you talk about Jamestown, Virginia, and afterward, you talk about Canada, slavery in Canada. There was no slave ship that went to Canada. There was no slave ship. So where did the African Canadians come from? The African Canadians some came from the Underground Railroad. Then others came not just through the Underground Railroad, but there were people who, after slavery, moved to Canada. But the people moved to Canada came from the United States. But there was no slave ship from Africa. They brought slaves from Africa to Canada. So that's the reason why we're going to continue today and put emphasis on the slave trade. That way, when you put the language together with the people, then everybody that's living outside the African continent can relate to one another. Trying to adjust this chair. Now, right now, we're gonna start with, make sure the microphone pick up. We're gonna start with the National Open University of Nigeria, their online courseware for a reason. Education is important. Now, the National Open University of Nigeria, by your comment says they by no means on the African continent are they the only uh, uh, institution of higher learning. By no means, and they are not the only institution that has online courseware. Because in today's society, being online, getting an education online is something that's common, not just not just in this part of the world, but also on the African continent. As your comment said, the National Open University of Nigeria has offers online courses. But by no means are they the only institution. So uh, we're gonna go there. But the reason why I did, because when we be talking about African traditional religion, West African traditional religion, their online courseware included African traditional religion, African traditional religion, culture, and theology of African traditional religion. But by no means does that mean that other institutions of higher learning that they don't also teach these classes and these courses. And when we talk about education, see, in this part of the world, there are a lot of people that claim they have education. They claim they have this degree, that degree. And then we have to deal with secret societies. We have to deal with street gangs and things like that. Then we have to deal with religion. We have to deal with sororities. We have to deal with fraternities. But a lot of people say they have an associate degree, they have a bachelor's degree, they have a master's degree, they have a PhD. And some of them, a lot of them, they'll tell you they have more than one degree. They have more than one associate degree, they have more than one bachelor, they have more than one master's degree, and they have more than one PhD. So, excuse me, we're gonna go to the National Open University of Nigeria online courseware. And they offer many courses that many people in this part of the world, including myself, can uh, get enrolled in the school and take courses. They have religion and society, CTA 001, Introduction to the Study of Religion, CTA 003, Introduction to Philosophy, CTA 009, Philosophy of Religion, CTA 043. Okay, Introduction to Linguistics 1, LIN 111, and Introduction to Linguistics 2, LIN 112. Then you have Introduction to Sociology, CSS 111. Then you have Introduction to Psychology, CSS 121. Then you have Introduction to Philosophy, CTH 131. Introduction to African Traditional Religion, CTH 192. Introduction to the Study of Religion, CTH 173. Religion and Society, CTH 151. Then you have Comparative Studies of Religion, CTH 202. Then you have Sociology of Religion, that's CTH 352. Then you have Introduction to Semantics, ENG 331. Introduction to Sociolinguistics, ENG 355. Introduction to World Religions, ISL 313. Then you got African Traditional Religion and Culture, CTH 491. Psycholinguistics, ENG 491. Theology of African Traditional Religion, CTA 792. And then they have a School of Science and Technology. They have all these courses you can in science and technology. So, for all those listening, get in contact with the National Open University of Nigeria and get the information you need. That way you can apply. First, get the information. Then, if it's possible, enroll in school. And there's some more schools in sub-Saharan Africa that accommodate you. And we're gonna go to the Afro-Asiatic language, the Nilo-Saharan language, and the Niger Congo language. Then we're gonna go to the slave trade. The Afro-Asiatic language, the Berber, the Chadic, the Cushitic, the Egyptian, the Omatic, and the Semitic. We're gonna start with the Semitic first. And the Semitic languages is the Arabic language, Amharic, Hebrew, Tigrinya, and Aramaic. Now you know the Semitic languages is the Canaanite language is a Semitic language, and the Canaanite language is Israelis, Israelites, and the Phoenicians, the Amorites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, and the Edomites. Now Phoenician is extinct. Then a dialect of Phoenician is Punic. It is extinct. Hebrew Ammonite is extinct. Moabite is extinct. Edomite is extinct. Biblical Hebrew is extinct. Tiberian Hebrew, Mizrahi Hebrew, Yemenite Hebrew, Ashkenazi Hebrew, Mishneh Hebrew, Medieval Hebrew, Ashkale Hebrew, Modern Hebrew, Israeli Hebrew, Ancient Samaritan Hebrew, and Samaritan Hebrew. And that's the Hebrew language. And Hebrew is a Semitic language. And the Semitic language is an Afro-Asiatic language. Let's go to Arabic. is a Semitic language, and you know the Semitic language is an Afro-Asiatic language. The Arab language has three main variants: Classical Arabic, Modern Standard Arabic, and Colloquial Dialectical Arabic. Amharic. Now, Amharic is a Semitic language spoken in Ethiopia. It is the official working language of the Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. You know, the Amharic, they use it's written in Amharic Fidel, which grew out of the gears of Abagida. So this Amharic is a Semitic language. The Semitic language is an Afro-Asiatic language, and as you know, uh, in the Caribbean nation, Jamaica, the Jamaicans, because of a visit to the island by Haile Selassie, the last emperor of the African nation of Ethiopia, they started a study circle in Amharic, but the Rastafari movement was based on his name. And in Amharic, when you say Rastafari, that's what it means. And so the the people in Jamaica, they know that there's not uh, it's not their culture. So now Tigrinya, Tigrinya is an Afro-Asiatic language in the Semitic branch. Now it says that Tigrinya, along with Arabic, was one of Eritrea's official languages during its short-lived federation with Ethiopia. In 1958, it was replaced with the southern Ethiopia prior to annexation. Upon Eritrea's independence in 1991, Tigrinya retained the status of working language. It said the only state in the world today to award Tigrinya recognition on the national level. This Tigrinya, Aramaic is a Semitic language, and the Semitic language is an Afro-Asiatic language. Now, the history of the Aramaic is broken down into three broad periods: Old Aramaic, Middle Aramaic, and Modern Aramaic. Okay, we're going to the Nilo-Saharan. Oh, excuse me. We just did the Semitic. Excuse me. We're going to the we still on the Afro-Asiatic. Now we just did all the Semitic. We on Omatic. Now the North and South Omatic branch are universally recognized. Omatic is an Afro-Asiatic language. Egyptian. Egyptian is the oldest known language of Egypt and a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language. And the scholars group the Egyptian language into six major chronological divisions: Archaic Egyptian language, Old Egyptian language, uh, Middle Egyptian language, Late Egyptian language, Demotic Egyptian language, and Coptic Egyptian language. The Cushitic language, are a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. And the Cushitic languages are considered to include Bayer, North Cushitic, Central Cushitic, Agar, Highland East Cushitic, Sidamic, Lowland East Cushitic, and South Cushitic. The Chadic. The Chadic language, the Chadic language is an Afro-Asiatic language. It has West Chadic, Bu Mandare, and East Chadic, and Maasai. Now, the West Chadic has two branches: A, Tahase, Ron, Bully, and Angus Land, and B, the Badi, Warriors, and Zar. Then Bu Mandare, Central Chadic, three branches, which include A, the Bure, the Kanwi, and Bete. B, the Badume, and Musgu. Then C, Gadar. Then the East Chadic, two branches: A, the Tumac, Nansiri, and Kira. Then B, the Dangalia, Mukulu, and Socorro. Then you have your Maasai. Then you have your Berber. The Berber languages or dialects is an Afro-Asiatic language. Is an Afro-Asiatic language. It consists of six major varieties. It says here, the Shilhit, Kabyle, Atlas, the Mizite, Riffian, Shawi, and Tuareg. That's the Berber language, and it is an Afro-Asiatic language. And all the languages I just spoke are all Afro-Asiatic. Now we're going to the Nilo-Saharan. See, the Nilo-Saharan languages are a proposed family of African languages. Now, the major languages, the Luo, Dulo, language of the Luo. Then you have your Kanuri, which include Kanimbu. Then you have your Songhay, which includes Zarme. Tiso, related to the Maasai. Then you have your Nubian, the language of Nubia, extending today from southern Egypt and northern Sudan. Lubare, Aringe, and that includes Lubare, which includes Aringe, Low Lubare. Then you have your Kalinjin, including Nanda and Poka. Then you have your Lango, a Luo language. Then you have your Dinka. Then you have your Acholi, which is another Luo language. The Maasai, Ngambe, Nu, and Fur. And then you have your Nuo, your Fur. Then you have your Tugu. And it has two main dialects, the Zage and T-Dage. And all those languages, those are the Nilo-Saharan. Now we're going, but let me say that before we go to the next color, we're just going to say that the Khoi and the San are two groups of people. And some of the Khoi and the San are either extinct or moribund. And then also the Austronesians. The Austronesians. We on the Niger Congo. Now, this is one map. We're on Niger Congo A and B languages. This is one map. Niger Congo. I'm gonna read it out. Okay, it said the Atlantic is the Wolof and the Fulé. Then you have your Mandi, Bambara, Malika. Those are Maliki, and Maniki, Maniki, and the Ulay. Then you have your Crew. Then you have your Gur, which is Moore. Then you have your Quay, which is Bali, Akan, and Ibi. Then you have your Dogon. Then you have your Ajoy. Then you have your Adamawe, Ubanji, which is Jabiye, Bande, and Zandi. Then you have your Kordofani. Then you have your non-Bantoid, Yoruba, and Igbo. Then you have your Bantoid, Fang, Tiki, Lingale, Mungo, and Kundu, Congo, Choki, Lube, Lugande, Rwande, Rundi, Rwanda, Sukume, Kikuyu, Swahili, Nahuwe, Inyanje, Bembe, Shone, Tisange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Hose, Tiswane, and Umbundu. Okay, let me see what, okay. When you see this map, you see the dark green, that's the surrounding Central African Republic. That's your Adamawa, Ubangi, it's Jimbiye, Bande, and Zandi. Now, what I was looking at, see on this map here, everything is numbered. So when you look for something, you look for a number. With this map, you look for a number. And then that's who the people are, that's who the speakers are. Just go by the numbers. But not just go by the number script, but include the numbers when you look at this map. And then on this map, this is the map we was talking about. Your Niger Congo languages, your primary branch, Volta Congo. Bantu, that's the South Volta first. South Volta. Bantu, Bantu or beside Bantu. Other East Benue Congo, West Benue Congo, and your Quay. Then you have your North Volta. North Volta. You have your Kru, Sinufo, the Gur, which is the Volta language, and Adamawa, Ubangi. Then it says here other primary branches, the Kordofan, the Mandi, the Atlantic, and and your Dogon. Because you have your Cordafon, your Mandy, Atlanta, and your Dogon, your iJoy. But on this map, it's not numbered. It's mostly colors. Now this is a map that shows Nigeria. It's a linguistics group. Now, it says here, principal linguistic groups. Chambay, Edo, Efik, Ambibio, Gwari, Gwara, the Hase and Fulani, Abo, Ajo, Kanuri, the Newt, Tia, and Yaruba, and Mix. Now, you see up there where it says the Hase and the Fulani, but then look over there, it said the Kanuri. See, up there in northeastern Nigeria, you see the Nile Sahara, and then they being harassed by Boko Haram and by my family. This is another map. It shows uh, the linguistics of Nigeria. Now it's shown on here, Niger Congo, on the Niger Congo. It's shown on here the Nilo Sahara, and it's shown on here the Afro-Asiatic. And then on this map, it's showing you the Niger Congo. Like this is Nigeria. This is another map of Nigeria. But on this map, this Nigerian map, it's showing you the Niger Congo language. It's showing you the South Volta languages, which is East Benue Congo, South Bantu, and others, Non-Bantu, Cross River, Plateau. Then you have your West Benue Congo, Yaruboid, Edoid, and Igboid. And then you have your North Volta language, Adamawa, and Ubangi, and Gur, and Ijoid language. That's in Nigeria. We're finna go to the slave trade, you're gonna see the map. And then on this map, it shows the Niger Congo language, primary branch, the Volta Congo, South Volta, Bantu, Bantoid, besides Bantu, other East Benu Congo, West Benu Congo, and Quay. Then you have the North Volta, Kru, Sinufo, Gert, Volta language, your Adamawa, Ubanjan. Then you have your other primary branches, your Quarterform, your Mandi, your Atlantic, including including Phoebe, Phoebe. And then when you be on Wikipedia, that's where the information, that map, those maps came from. You see, you see the map of Nigeria, then you see the map of the whole African continent, but it shows you the Niger Congo languages, and then you got your Niger Congo language subgroups and number of speakers. Now, we're gonna go back and emphasize the slave trade, starting with the East African slave trade, and we're gonna go to there, and then we're gonna go to the West African slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade. When we talk about the East African slave trade, on Wikipedia, look up slavery in Africa, the East African slave trade. Now you can put in there Arab slave trade, and information come up. But the information that we want to do, that we want to have, uh, that we want to divulge, when you go to Wikipedia, put slavery in Africa. the East African slave. You know, we were talking about tip through tip. He was a Swahili slave trader. One of the main words is Zanj, Z-A-N-J, Afro-Asiatic term. They refer to the Bantu. We're talking about Zanzibar, an island right there off Tanzania, Zanzibar. The East African slave trade. The there were many Bantu sent away from or taken away from the African continent. And many of those people, many of the descendants of those people are listening to this video or won't be listening to the video soon. And this information has to be emphasized. We have to put heavy emphasis on the slave trade. It talks about okay, okay, you can also look up go online, look up the slave ships, the ships, and there's a list of ships, slave ships. the East African slave trade, East African slave, the Great Lakes area. Some of the Bantu women were traded to be slaves in Ethiopia and in, and Somalia. And we know we know the Congo, you know the Bantu women complaining about uh, domestic violence, you know what I'm saying, animal abuse, drug use, abusing alcohol. So when we talk about the slave trade, these are things that we talk about. We talk about commodity. We talk about the Atlantic slave trade, transatlantic slave trade. It's not that I'm saying be a side, but I'm on Wikipedia, and we're on slave trade. We're on slave trade, East African slave trade, and the West African slave trade. And we talk about the slave ships. Okay, the emphasis that we want to put on the slave trade is the East African slave trade and the Atlantic slave trade. The West African slave trade, though they call it the Atlantic slave trade, was another passage. But like I said, I was looking up the ships, the slave ships, because that'll point you to to where did all them slaves should go, and who are the people that they picked up, where they come from. That's the reason why we put emphasis on the East African slave trade and the West African slave trade, so the people that in the diaspora like myself, we won't be excluded. We won't be excluded and things of this nature. It won't be too much long on the video because I know I'm always come back. But like I said, we want to put heavy emphasis today on the East African slave trade and the West African slave trade. West African slave trade. Like I said, I'm looking at the slave ships. we putting heavy emphasis on because I'm looking up stuff, looking up the land of slave trade. I want to try to be silent. Uh, the slave ships from Africa to uh, Brazil, and to the Caribbean islands, and even to Jamestown, Virginia. See, there's a lot of things you can look up about slavery. That's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to be silent, everybody. I wasn't trying to be silent. I was like slavery in the Gulf. You know, you had to make sure that here in the United States of America, when you talk about the Gulf of Mexico, talk about like Texas, Louisiana, uh, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. These are the states in the United States of America, but on that Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico. But we did some research, so everybody that what we want to do. We want to make sure we emphasize the slave trade. Here in the Western Hemisphere, here in the Western Hemisphere, and also in with the East African slave trade. The Arab slave trade and the Bantu on the East African coast who were made to be slaves. Their ancestors may be slaves. Here in the Western Hemisphere, people were taken from the west coast of Africa and made to be slaves here in the Western Hemisphere. And that's what I was also looking up the Gulf of Mexico, slavery in the Gulf of Mexico, and things of that nature. And so we're going to continue to do our research, you know, next week. And we're going to continue to broaden our horizons. We're going to continue to learn about our history. And we're going to learn we're going to learn about our culture. All of us living outside the continent of Africa, because we're not disconnected from the African continent by choice, but it was done by force. But we do have a choice today, and we got to be compelled to through education as well. Because when you deny people education, they don't know. See, people get accustomed to living here in the Western Hemisphere, and people also get accustomed to living uh, in West Asia. They get accustomed to living in Saudi Arabia. They get accustomed to living in Central Asia, South Asia, Far East Asia, East and Far East Asia, and in other places they get accustomed and you get adapted to it. But however, you should get accustomed to West African culture and Bantu culture. That's what you should get accustomed to, and you shouldn't allow others like the Afro-Asiatic or the Nilo-Saharan to influence you, or the cord in the sand to influence you. And like I said, like on today's video, we were doing research. We'll come back on next week's video. We're gonna continue to do research because you never stop seeking knowledge. You don't never stop seeking knowledge, and that's the old saying. You don't never stop seeking knowledge, especially about yourself. You always learn about yourself. So again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live here in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, content in the county Shelby. And I want to thank all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. I am working on my entertainment music interests. I'm not sitting at home. I'm going to school and working also, so I'm trying to maintain that balance. But I am working on my entertainment music interest. As I informed all my fans, my supporters, I already got in contact with my attorney, and my attorney is working on this situation with One Sound Studio and with Wicked Film. This guy named Lou. Uh, both of these both of these parties had cheated me out of some money, stole my money, and called themselves, you know what I'm saying, gonna try to get away with it, but that was the court is there for. So they not getting away with stealing not one penny from me. They're not getting away with it. And like I said, I'm working on my entertainment and music interests. And very soon you'll be able to enjoy all my my music and my entertainment. So nobody's getting away with trying to hinder me from doing anything. Only person who's stopping me is me, myself. So until next time, you take care of yourself, and I wish each and every one of you the very best.